Hey Steve Day, it's me, Jeremy, and I'm here to teach you how to make black beans. Okay, let's get started. First, you want to get yourself a pot, like this one, and you want to put your stove on medium high. I have mine on 6. Alright.
I like black beans.
Oh, cool. So the first step is to soak your beans, Steve. A minimum of 30 minutes, but you can also soak them overnight. In there we got a whole bag of Goya black turtle beans, and they've been soaking for a couple hours. The more you soak them, the faster they'll cook. Then we're ready for our first ingredient, bacon. So get yourself some bacon, and we're gonna cut it up. I've cut up about 4 slices of bacon. I minced it as fine as you can. The finer you make it, the better it's gonna be, because you don't want to have big chunks of the bacon in your beans later. You want it to kind of reduce down. And now I'm gonna put it in my pot. My pot is probably not hot enough. The hotter it is when you first put it in, the more faster it'll go, but we'll just throw it in there now anyways. We got a lot of other stuff to put in there, so we'll start it off. So we're going to let this bacon cook for a while because we want the fat to render. That means that it's going to liquefy, and then we're going to cook our other ingredients in that bacon fat.
Yeah.
Yep. Ellie agrees. Alright, now I don't know if you remember this, but I taught you how to cut an onion before. You probably don't remember it. So you cut it in half. And you cut off one end. Remove some peel. And you slice it this way, but not all the way down to the edge. Then we go across this way to get minced onion. Alright, so our bacon's starting to reduce down there. You can sort of tell it's getting like a little crispy, and the fat parts are starting to peel away, and that'll continue to go. We're going to add in our onion now. So I got about 1.5, almost 2 onions in there for the big bag of beans. And it doesn't really matter how much of anything you add. You can't really mess this up. The only thing you can add too much of is bay leaves or salt. So you can just sort of wing it, and eventually it doesn't really matter. You know, it always tastes the same, or tastes good. So we got our onion in there. Now we'll let those start to cook down. Then we're going to add in some garlic, and I use this frozen garlic because it still tastes real good and you don't have to cut it up or anything. I probably use, I don't know, 5 of those or something. Oh yeah. Alright, so the onions are starting to get translucent, and we're going to add in some bay leaves. You could add these in earlier, but I was looking for mine and I can't find them. I don't know where they went. All I can find is this one bay leaf, so it's not going to taste as good. I probably put in like 3 or 4 for a full bag of beans. 3 or 4 big ones. So that'll be, mine won't taste as good as normal, but that's okay. And then cumin. And I like a lot of cumin in there. Probably like, I don't know, that's probably 1 tablespoon. That's probably 2. Oh, yep. Probably go with 2.5-ish for big bag, something like that. Oh, that onion too? Maybe. And any other spices you want to add in, like you can, but there's not really any reason to. It just makes you feel good about yourself. They probably, mostly the cumin and the bay leaves and some other stuff we're going to add. But we'll put in some other stuff for complexity of flavor, and then we'll make a difference. We'll put some coriander in. A little bit of that. Pretty much has no flavor. And for your mom, a little Tony Chicharros. A little bit of that. Oh yeah. Alright, so now it should smell like garlic and bacon and cumin. Those are the things you want to smell the most, and the bay leaves. And then what we're going to do is all that stuff that's stuck on the bottom, we're going to deglaze that, it's called. So we're going to use this pale, dry sherry from Trader Joe's, but you can use any wine, or you can I even use balsamic vinegar. Sometimes it still adds that like acidic, whatever, I don't know. So we pour a little of that in. And it kind of loosens everything up off the bottom. Like that. And then we add the other secret ingredient, Rooster sauce. So you're not going to add enough to make it spicy, but just enough to give it that, there's a lot of good flavor in there. It's really good when you add this in there. We add that. Alright, so I washed our beans off. I washed them in the strainer to get all the liquids, the enzymes on that side of the beans. Supposedly that's what makes them harder to digest or something. And I'm going to add these in here. But if you don't have to rinse them off. It keeps some of the black color if you don't. That's the one thing I still don't know how to make my beans like really black like they do in the Mexican restaurants. I think you can add hoisin sauce, someone said, but I don't own any of that. So put our beans in there, and then we add our chicken broth. So you can use water or vegetable broth too, but chicken broth gives it a lot of flavor. So we add in the chicken broth. So this is going to cover the beans. And they should be covered by like 3/4 of an inch or so. We'll have to add some water to this.
It smells so good right now. You have no idea.
And then we're going to add salt. And you can always add more salt later, so don't overdo this. And then we're going to add pepper. I don't know why you can't really taste it, but I'm sure Bobby Flay would add pepper, so I guess I'll do it too. And bring it up to a boil, and then set it down to simmer, and let it cook for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, however long you want. The more you cook it, the more tender they'll get. I usually leave it on for like 4 hours, or just into the night. And then, yeah, that's all. So we'll bring it up to boil, and then we'll simmer it. And I'll keep adding water. If the water goes down, I'll add some more water. So that it'll, There we go. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and alright, it's boiling now, so we're going to set this down to simmer about at 3.5. And we give it a stir. You can see they're brown because we soaked them for so long. We washed off a lot of the color too, so they're going to be even browner than normal, but that's okay. And then we just put the top on, let her go. Okay, Steve, I hope you've enjoyed that video, and hopefully you will make some beans.